In a world where it seems that audience and critics can never agree on good rating for a film, it is quite surprising when they are able to see both in such agreement that it's almost frightening. And I couldn't agree more. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Keeping It Real, a channel where we review games and movies to keep myself from being alone in my own thoughts. Today, we are reviewing the recent release of Tom Cruise's new and much anticipated Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, and I must say, it truly does live up to the hype. It has everything you want in a spy movie: backstabbing, espionage, comedy, and blatantly obvious product placement everywhere you look. This movie is directed by Christopher McQuarrie, who, from looking at his filmography, has a particular fondness of a certain Scientologist. Other than that, it seems as if Christopher really knows how to create an action film. He has brought us movies such as Top Gun Maverick, Edge of Tomorrow, and Jack Reacher. All are exciting action adventure movies that are doing their best to keep the out. So on to the plot. You know, it wasn't groundbreaking or different anyway, but it really did help tell a story that fits in the world that we see today. The essence of the film is about a rogue AI that, if controlled by a country, would quite literally control the world. The film begins in a Russian sub that's named the Sevastopol. They have created and are testing a prototype of an AI in Antarctica. While we are seeing the crew, we get a glimpse of the enemy sub that they attempt to sink with a torpedo. They find that the enemy was never actually there, and the torpedo they launch is actually coming back to their own sub. The torpedo explodes and kills everyone inside while sinking it to the bottom of the cold Atlantic Sea. I think this is a great way to set up the main antagonist of the film, and it shows the true power that someone would hold if they were able to take control of the AI. We then cut to Ethan, receiving an order from a delivery service, and in the bag is a recording telling him that Elsa, a longtime friend of his, is being hunted by bounty hunters. And then from there, the movie cuts to the Arabian desert where Elsa is currently hiding. A group of mercenaries have found her, and of course Ethan is also there, and they fight off the mercenaries, yada yada yada, and they escape. Of course, it's a basic spy film, can't have a major character die in the beginning few minutes. We then go to a group of government bureaucrats talking about the AI situation and how they plan to deal with it. Ethan is able to sneak into the room and knock everyone out with a green gas. How did no one in the room below look up and see green gas filling the room full of their superiors? Not sure, but if they treat their workers like how they talk about world domination, I don't blame them for not doing anything about it. We then cut to Abu Dhabi Airport, where Ethan and his team are trying to get the other part of the key to see if it is real or a fake. We are introduced to Grace, a pickpocketer trying to make serious crypto money. This must have been made before the big FTX news. Anyways, she eventually escapes with both parts of the key to Venice, but is arrested and questioned while there. Most of the movie takes place in Venice. We get a very exciting and funny car chase where BMW is apparently the only vehicle in Italy. We then see Ethan's team going into a party that is actually being held by the AI and run by people who are helping the AI control the world. While there, we see Ethan being held back by two men for probably the seventh or eighth time in the film, which is a common theme in this franchise. They really enjoyed that aspect and then really decided to run with it. Speaking of running, it wouldn't be a Tom Cruise movie if he wasn't running a triathlon while also trying to save the world. And we see that a lot in this film. After escaping the party, Grace runs into Gabriel and fights to the best of her abilities, but is ultimately defeated after showing Gabriel that she actually has two knives instead of just stabbing him with it without him knowing. He knocks her out, and here comes Elsa. They fight, and Gabriel wins, killing her, showing that the AI knows every outcome. And then we finally head to the Orient Express, where the final act of the movie takes place. Grace is trying to pretend to be Alana and attempt to steal the key undercover. Their mask machine breaks, and Ethan is to get on the train another way. We eventually get the famous scene where Cruise jumps off a cliff with a motorcycle. In the train, Grace is confronted, but of course Ethan comes in literally crashing through the train and saving her. We get a chase scene of Ethan and Gabriel that ends at the top of the train. This scene was fun. They had a lot to do with dodging the lights and tunnels and train goes through. Ethan is about to kill Gabriel but is stopped by Briggs. Of course, Ethan was able to steal the key back from Gabriel even though they did not show it. The AI blows up the bridge and they attempt to stop the train. They eventually do and have to climb while the carts slowly fall to the river below. That is the plot of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. It wasn't bad, There were many parts where it was really movie magic for them to succeed, but it was fun and kept my attention the whole movie. I would rate the plot an 8 out of 10. One of the best parts of the film, in my opinion, is the CGI and practical effects. Just like his movies before, the 61-year-old Tom Cruise still does his own stunts, and I could truly say that cliff scene was epic. Surprisingly, that is not the highlight of the film, in my opinion. We saw a lot of different set pieces that, in a world of movies like Thor Love and Thunder and Flash, it was nice to see quality effects that show what the film industry can do with care and passion behind a film. My favorite scene had to include the beginning of the movie with the submarine and the ending with the derailing. The submarine was such a great scene. It set up the enemy of the film in an ominous way while showcasing a similar feeling to actually being in a submarine. When the AI renavigates the torpedo towards the submarine, we see what happens when it explodes, and in that explosion, the other torpedoes fall in the war room, and it looked great. At the end of the movie, watching the train slowly fall apart while we get a Uncharted-esque climb away from danger, it looked phenomenal, and it was really fun to watch. I would rate the CGI and practical effects a 9 out of 10. It was really well done and looked great. There were some problems with things like the mountain when he jumps off, just small aspects like that, but it doesn't take away from the overall quality of the film. So on to cinematography. It did what it needed to do. It definitely wasn't the highlight of the film, but that's not what it was trying to do. It was supposed to show you the emotion of each of the characters with close ups and wide shots that really portrayed the area they were in quite well. You see and expect better camera angles in movies with Christopher Nolan because that's what he aims to do. He wants to create tension with how he shoots the scene. A positive I saw in the film was around the beginning when they were in the airport. It was a nice seeing different angles, like from a security camera or through the lens of Tom's AR glasses. Another positive I really enjoyed was the Arabian desert scene. Ethan is looking for Elsa, and a sandstorm rolls in, and they both have to fight the mercenaries that show up. We see cool shots of everyone trying to traverse through the destroyed settlement while the dust storm is raging, and it creates a very cool ambiance with the scene. One big negative I realized with the cinematography is that all the characters seemed to have extremely watery eyes and looked like they were on the verge of tears. Whether that was a stylistic choice or how the cameras was, I don't know, but it didn't quite look well while watching. I'm rating cinematography a 7 out of 10. Most of my nitpicks are small, but they're quite noticeable and did become quite distracting of the film. So with the completion of part 2 coming within the next few years, it's likely this is the last time we'll be seeing Ethan Hunt on the big screen. Unless they decide to go the last Fast and Furious route and just have it turn into a complete parody of itself and bank on the name of the movie to get people in the seats. But sadly, as of right now, we are stuck with only part 1 and we'll have to wait and see how the story ends. For Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, I will rate it a solid 8 out of 10. It's a good spy movie, a lot of product placement, but it provides a action-packed story with a star-studded cast. I would highly recommend this film. So thanks for watching, keeping it real. See you in the next one.